All right. Welcome, everyone. And out of the wait time, looks like I'm ready. Okay, tonight's going to be a shorter stream. I have roughly 2 hours, not even 2 hours, of extra time, and figured, you know what, we're going to continue where we left off last night. I didn't have a chance to even touch a computer all Saturday, so yeah, time to force myself to learn a bit more. So where did we finish at last time? We finished at having the check for the player to collide if it collides with meteors, and then the health gets lowered. We update the HP in the UI by calling the group. And then what? And then we just print you dead if the health goes to 0. Okay? That's all that we have so far. Let's see if that works. Okay, I can move the ship, right? And when I collide with something, bam. We get a first. Health is now 4. And the meteor hit, that's the meteor saying that, not the player. Bam. Bam, bam. And one more slam. Of course. Bam. You're dead. And that's it. But we just don't have the option of having the screen yet and whatnot, so... Okay, if I hit a meteor hard enough, it's gonna fall away. Alright, and the same thing with shooting, that just makes the ship go a little bit wonky. I wonder if I can just make one shot, can I? Boop. Boop. Yeah, it turns the ship a little bit. Awesome. Hey, because our shots are actually physics-based. That's it. When we shoot a cannonball, it actually applies force at the spot where it was shot, moving the ship a little bit. So I guess if one would shoot at the meteor long enough, it's gonna move it just a little bit. Alright, never mind, we just continue. So what the heck we're supposed to do? Okay, so we have this update HP, we just get the tree, which I presume gets like the root of the whole tree of not just the UI but everything. Not just the player but everything. I presume we can call the group. Ah, I see. That's why we have separate global groups and scene groups, so that we could just lock it down to scenes, so each scene can have their own set of groups, possibly. We'll read about it at some point. But then we're basically searching for the UI group, which the UI is set to, and we call the set health function with providing the player HP. So what if I'm gonna add ABC at the end, okay? ABC. Will it be complaining that whatever it's trying to call doesn't exist, or will it just ignore it? Because if it would just ignore it, that could be actually helpful if I can hit a meteor. Yeah, it doesn't freak out. That's good to know. All right. Good. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. What the heck? Okay, that's good. So let's get back to our tutorial. Wherever we have it, here.
Want to have the amount of health. Whatever you specify in there is going to be passed into the function as an argument. So with that, let me exit the code screen, go to UI, and in there, I want to attach a script to the UI, which we can store in the usual way, and we can have an empty script. We want to create a function called setHealth, which needs to have one parameter, the amount of health. I suppose we can simply call it amount. That feels a bit better. And in there, for now, I simply want to print the amount. And just to make sure we are in the UI, I also want to print UI. So what is going to happen now is that inside of the level, we are calling the group UI and call the setHealth method for all of them. while passing the health information into it. Since our UI group only has a single node
That's
attached,
better.
we are only going to run this set health once. But let's try it first of all. If I now collide with Meteor, we get 2, 1, and 0 UI. So we are calling this information. It worked pretty well. And that's basically all you really have to know about groups. They are ultimately fairly simple, and you can attach one node to a single or to multiple groups. And that's basically it. It doesn't get that much more complicated, but it's incredibly useful. But anyway, now we have to figure out how to actually make this set health work to update the UI. At the moment, we have 5 texture rectangles in there, and this I don't really like. Here's what we are going to do instead. First of all, whenever we are updating the health, so we are setting the health, we are first going to remove all children from the HBox container. Let's say remove all children. And after that, we're going to create new children, and the amount is set by health. I.e., if we have a health of 2, we're going to create 2 texture rectangles with the particular texture. With that system, we always get the right amount of health that corresponds to the amount of health that the player has in the level. Although to implement all of that, we need a couple of things. First of all, we have to remove all of the children. That part is fairly easy. We want to get the margin container, and then use a for loop. So for child in margin container, and then get underscore children. Don't forget to call this one, and after you have done it.
Okay, so for each child in there, let's try to do that. So we're gonna head over UI, because I should already have it. Gameplay UI. Yeah, that's what I called it. So we're gonna do for, and he just calls it child in this case. And hbox container dot get children. Yes, get children. Okay, and just like in Python, we have it indented like this.
To delete a node, all you need is Q3. This one deletes a node. Since we are calling set health every time we are colliding with a meteor, if
okay, and the Q3. Okay. That will queue it up to be destroyed before the next frame begins or when the current frame ends.
If we are now colliding with a meteor in the game, all of the health icons should disappear. And they do. That looks pretty good. Cool. So next up, we have to recreate them, which is going to be another for loop. Let's say for I in amount. And if you come from Python, this is going to look a bit weird because in Python, you always need the range function to actually loop over an integer. In Godot or GScript, you don't need that at all, which makes things a bit easier.
That's cool. Well. So we do for I and HP. That's what I did.
We want to create an entirely new node. Although you could also create a separate scene with the health texture and then spawn that, but we don't really need that. Instead, I'm going to create a texture rectangle. And to create a node entirely from scratch, all you really need is texture rectangle, so the name of the node, and then the new keyword. That way, you are creating a new node. Another way to think about it would be that this is somewhat similar compared to instantiate, where you are taking a blueprint and then create a node from that, except now we have an inbuilt blueprint. Next up then, we have to get this texture rectangle and assign a texture to it. This we're getting via load. And now we have to load the one image, I think I called it player life 1 red. Fairly long path, but the Godot hints here work really well. However, this system is a bit inefficient, because we are loading the same image multiple times for every I in the for loop. A better way of handling this would be to create a variable right at the beginning, which I'm going to call image. And in there, we're going to store what we have loaded. That way, we can reuse it and only load it once. Feels much better. Also, what we can do is turn this image into a static variable, which for this variable is what we want to do. With that, we have a texture rectangle with a texture.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what static does exactly to it.
All we have to do now is to add it to this.
So we're gonna do the same thing. Instead of doing it here, you could just plop it here, and let's do static for image. Really, image? That's bad. HP image. HP texture. Okay. And we do the load thing here. I want it to be texture 2D. What was it? Texture 2D? I presume. What is the texture here? Dot texture. It doesn't say. Of course it doesn't say. I save it. It should be happy. So can I just do again this whole export thing? Can I export something static? Annotation export cannot be applied to static variable. Of course. So we're not gonna have so static is like a constant or something? I'm not sure. So I want to go to UI. And for HP texture, I want to quick load the live icon, open, and we just have it loaded this way. All right? I prefer that approach.
Or the HBox container.
So we just set this to be this. Okay.
Of the margin container. So all I want to do is get the HBox container inside of margin container 2, and then add a child.
Okay. So we take this thingy, add child, and we just pass it in there, I guess. And node, which will be the text. Text. What the hell? Text. Did he really write text? instead of text for texture. Text. I don't like his naming scheme.
Which is going to be the texture rectangle. That is actually all we need. Now I can start off this again, and we should go to the proper amount of health. Although that's a bit hard to see. Let me run off this again. If I now get hit once by meteor, we go to 2 texture rectangles, and now we get to 1 and 0. So this is working. Although the scaling is getting a bit weird. And to fix that, look at 1 texture rectangle, and then look at the stretch mode. This is the property we have updated, and we have to set it to keep. If you have our stretch mode, you can see in code, we can target this via stretch mode.
Sure. Let me see what I'm actually getting myself. All right. Because I should get it, bam, updated, and wow, nothing. Okay. Why is that? Why'd I get suddenly nothing? Pause. And we have the remote level. Where's the UI? No UI? What the heck? This is supposed to be AI and, I mean, not UI. Where the hell is it? Level. Whole level is supposed to have UI at the bottom. We do not have the UI. Why do we not have UI? Oh, did it like break or something completely? Errors? Delta's never used, so that's not a problem. Okay, this is strange. Why is it that it just straight up disappears? Because the points will disappear too, right? Yeah, the whole thing crashes. We have no error, nothing. Set health for child and margin container, edge box container. I remove only those inside there. And then add inside here. What on earth is going on? Here, remote, I have UI. What the hell is happening to the UI? I can't hit anything. Bam. It just gets removed randomly. Hey, Taras. And hello, Dykenut Wolfie. I'm just going through tutorials in Godot, so I'm following tutorial and heavily modifying it, actually. And Taras says I was watching a video about person writing just-in-time compiler for BF. Wow, okay. And I instantly wanted to write one myself. Go for it. It's something we can learn a lot from. I would probably have failed greatly, but why not? Why the hell not? So now, why isn't it working? What is going on? I have this applied. I'm referencing it correctly. Text rect. Okay, text rect. Texture is this. That's fine. We create everything the same way, right? Yeah. Nothing crazy here. Let's add a funny little if HP text is null. Print text is null, which should not happen because we have it attached. I click here and it's attached, so that shouldn't be a problem. Why is it disappearing? Come on, meteors, hit me. Bam. Nothing, absolutely nothing in the debugger. Nothing anywhere. So that's not an issue. I know that this has been triggered. So what if I'm gonna just comment this part out? Oh, wow. Okay, I'm just queuing the whole UI to get free. Child.queue free. There we go. For however many children there are, I'm deleting UI that many times. So I'm like deleting it many times just to make sure. Okay, that should fix the problem. So yeah, Tyrus, I'm trying to prep for the gamer. Whoa. Oh wow, that was large. For the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam by learning Godot. Because it would be nice to actually know some engine a little bit before you go off participate in a game jam. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And of course, instead of following tutorial 1-to-1, I'm just overcomplicating everything, but hey, you learn the most when you play rather than just mindlessly following the tutorial, so that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so in the tutorial he says that he just needs to set the whole stretch mode to keep. In my case, I know that I have some weird shenanigans going on here, and the texture rect needs to be expand mode, which is this expand mode. So let's do, before we even add the child, I want the text rectangle dot expand mode is, and we want fit with proportional, whatever that means. It kind of worked for me. And then stretch mode will be keep aspect. That should be enough, right? Because I think the parent sets the size of it. So let's see if that works. The set health should also start at the beginning of the game, I believe. Alright, bam. Oh, now it disappears completely. So, no, we're not doing correctly. Doesn't mean I have to put them here? Like, after the fact? I wonder if that makes any difference. Although, I have no clue. Just no clue. Dark Knight Wolfie says, nice. I started learning Godot a few weeks ago, but I'm still very new. Oh yeah. Have you had any prior game development knowledge? Or like, is that just one of the engines that you're learning? Or just entering game development from scratch? This doesn't work. Let's take this one out and see what the hell's gonna happen now. Start again, and please work, please work, please work. For testing, I need to just make those meteors go a little bit faster because, wait, I can just do it here and level. Or no, I cannot. This is a timer, meteor timer. Let's make them go like this, and maybe not like that. Okay, and let's a 2 in here. Okay, start. Okay, now we have a little bit more meteors, and bam. Yep, that's not it. So that's not the stretch mode screwing it up. It's the other thing screwing it up. I don't like when you have like a really simple thing that shouldn't be an issue, making a bunch of issues. Because you have this, the texture, this set, no other flips, no other weird theming. I don't have anything else set. So everything else should be a just default. Oh, it's gonna just hit me. Or not. Still, just disappears. Straight up disappears. And no errors anywhere either. I wonder where they go. I need to see that by my own eyes. What the heck is going on? UI. Right, we have those. What's gonna happen if I'm gonna make it none? Oof. So fit width, that's good. Fit with proportional, whatever. Height, proportional. Ignore size. Really, ignore size. Expand ignore size. The size of the texture won't be considered for minimum size calculations, so the texture rect can be shrunk down past the texture size. What? Okay. Yeah, let's try that. Ignore size. I really don't know what to do here. Dot. Ignore size. Okay. We'll see if that works. Tar said, today I have discovered that Stux uses different Dart SDK versions in different places. Oh, that sounds like fun. Source code, Brew, and Choco. So, all right. So basically different. I want to see it work. Doesn't work. Okay. So I spend my day to, unifying all the versions to a single file and build automations to update it in all other places, as well as test if this change breaks anything. It was fun. I presume the fun here is used, behind the word sarcasm. That sucks. That's not a fun thing to work on. And Dark Knight Wolfie says, I tried starting with Unreal Engine 4, but switched to Godot because it seemed simpler to learn, but still struggling with C++. And Tara says it was really fun. Okay, starting with Unreal Engine for your first game engine, yeah, that can be tough. Really tough. And in Godot, at least you don't have to deal with C++, although in Unreal with basic game dev, game jam games, you could easily go with with no big deal things. Like you don't even need to use the C++. Okay, Tara, so you actually enjoyed it. That's awesome to hear. That sounds like something that I would really not enjoy, updating everything. Ugh. What the hedge is going on? They just all freak out because I'm trying to set this expand mode. Wait, what am I doing? Here. Meteor timer. Give me more meteors. And back in code here. Okay, so expand, fit width. Did it work or not? Nope. Expand, keep size. That's gonna just make them massive, right? That's the one that just makes them massive. So they work. This just they're a little bit too large. Yeah, and come on, really? Nothing can hit me. Oh, there we go. Bam. Okay, cool. So that part works. And if I don't set it, I have no idea what it does. Stretch scale. Will that work? Wait, it's blend to be set as stretch? Wait a moment. That's not correct. It should be expand. Yeah, expand. Mode. Dot. Oh, maybe I'm just straight up setting something wrong. Come on, hit me. How is it there are so many targets and I just can't hit them? Or they can't hit me? Those small ones look like popcorn. Yeah, and it just doesn't work. Come on. I had expand, fit with proportional, and that was going great. Don't understand it. Okay, I'm gonna do it my way, the way I would solve it. So, I go to UI. We have this texture rect. Let's make it, name it HP rect. Okay. Right click, save branch as scene. It'll be UI, and we're gonna call it HP rect. Sure. And what we're gonna do is, instead of doing this whole create new thing, blah, 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 we're gonna do var text rect is, we're gonna have export var, in this case will be HP rect scene. Which is supposed to be, wait, it was packed scene, right? Packed scene. There we go. We don't need that texture anymore. And we're just gonna do HP rect scene instantiate. There we go, and just add it there, and we should be good. All right. Hopefully it's gonna work. So now inside our UI, for the select rect scene, quick load, and we have the HP rect. Save, run. Please work. Please, please, please work. Yes, that works. Okay, good. And something hits me, bam. I'm dead. Cool. Cleaner code. This doesn't work. I guess I have some weird settings somewhere. Am I lagging? Really? Interesting. Am I still lagging? I haven't looked for a second at chat, and YouTube isn't showing any errors. So I am not sure. I'll assume that I'm not lagging anymore. Alright, what do we do here?
Rectangle, and then get the stretch mode. And then Godot is giving us all of the hints that we need. We want to get stretch.keep. And that should fix everything. If I now run the game again, that feels much better. Although the one issue we have right now is that by default we have 5 texture rectangles. To fix that, I want to get rid of all of these texture rectangles and have no child inside of HBox container. The issue with that though is that by default now we don't have any health at the beginning, but once we collide we have 2 health. Very confusing. That we can fix though quite easily. All we have to do is to call this call group in another time in the script somewhere, ideally when we are starting the game, so in the ready function. Let's call it set up health UI. And we have to call this same method, and that's all we really have to do because health is what we really want. If I now run all of this again,
alright. That's simple enough. So in our player, we're just gonna call the update HP right here. Update HP. Oh, we have it like underscore thing. I still don't understand it. Why do you want to name your functions with an underscore in the beginning? It's just, ew. Okay, so we start with correct length now, right? Beautiful. And bam, bam, and I'm dead. Lovely. Okay. I'm good with that. So. Okay. And not in the moment. Awesome. But it takes a lot of time for my messages to appear on the screen. Okay. Usually Twitch is fast. So, yeah, I might be just, I don't know. I don't know how to fix that specific issue. Everything's normal on my end. Just as it usually is. So, I don't know. 17 seconds lag. What? Holy macaroni. I not reload the page, maybe? Maybe there was some problem. I have no idea how that part of streaming works. I don't have a fast forward button on my end, unfortunately. What the hell was I doing? Okay, so we updated this. Unless it's the other thing, the UI. Where was it? Reconnect again. I don't know. Although it would be weird if that part was lagging. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so maybe it's something with buffering. And maybe my stream got a hitch for a second. Something went wonky with buffers. And just to keep playing it normally on your end, it just makes it laggy. Maybe.
We can see we have free health at the beginning, and this decreases every time we collide with a meteor. Cool. Although now, if we go to negative, we can print death, but nothing else is happening. So that we have to work on next. Basically, all that we want to do is, if the player's health goes below 0, then we want to change the scene to game over. And Godot makes that part really easy. All we have to do is get the scene tree again, and then change scene either to file or to packed. File is what I want to use for this case. And now we have to specify what scene we want to go to. And for that, I want to exit the full screen code view and go to my scenes, because in there we have game over.tscn. Simply drag this in there, and now we should be going to...
Okay. Change scene to file. I can live with that level of complexity. Why not? And that's within the player. So within the player, we have the logic for that. So I had basically here, if body enter, do all this stuff. And I'm not gonna make it inside here. I'm just gonna make it at the end whenever there's a collision. If the player HP is less than that, or less or equals 0, we're gonna do get tree. Do we have like a hint for that? No. Can I control click it? Yeah, get tree. Returns a scene tree that contains this node. If this node is not inside the tree, generates an error and returns null. Okay, that's a very generic description. Okay. But we can do get tree and change scene to file, and we just drag the file here, right? Not sprites, UI, and we have not here. Scenes. UI game over. What a silly name. What was I thinking? Okay, let's see. If when I'm gonna get dead, if it's gonna display me as dead. Yeah. There we go. There's the game over screen. And we don't have any functionality to do anything yet, so I guess we'll need to add the space. And what I like about this is behind the scenes, go to remote, nothing else exists, so our player doesn't exist, no, you know, you don't have to deal with stuff where, you know, maybe it was processing the input or something. It's all abstracted away, so I very much like it. Awesome. That's cool.
To the scene. If I run the code and get hit by a meteor a couple of times, we get to game over. Cool, that looks pretty good. What we now have to figure out is how to go back to the main game, which should happen on this screen if we are pressing space. That part is going to be your exercise. I want you guys to return.
One player presses the space. So I think there's already some kind of something. Project settings, input map, and I should do show built-in actions. UI accept. That's what we're gonna use, okay? UI accept. So if player presses enter or KP enter, keypad enter, or a space, they're gonna get there. UI accept. So let's go to the player and do some copy pasting, okay? If this is just pressed, do that. All right, so in our, do we have game over UI? No. So UI game over, attached script. It will be a nice empty script. Oh, I want to check it of a frame, right? Ugh. So if input is actually just pressed UI underscore accept, we're gonna do the same thing we did in the player, which is load a scene from file, but not the same, doesn't reload this thing. Just go to a different scene, which will be level, I believe was the name. And that should just reload the other stuff and we start from scratch. And therefore we're stuck in an endless loop. This is easier than Raylib. Okay, kill me. There we go. That was fast. Space. Yeah, there we go. Whoa, shooting. And currently, those shootings, they don't kill me. So, what? Did I just see the thing hit the little thingy and die from it? How am I not dead yet? Okay, now I'm dead. Alright. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. So what's next?
Return to the game if the player presses space. Pause the video now and see if you can figure this one out. Back in Godot, I want to work inside of Game Over. In there, first of all, we need to have a script, which we can create in the usual way, and we don't need ready, at least for now, and the comment we also don't need anymore. All we really want to check is if the player is pressing space, which in our case is the shoot action. So we can simply go with if input is action, either just pressed or pressed, both would be just fine. I would go with just pressed. And suppose, just to cover both, I want to go to pack. And now we go once we have the pack scene, like we have seen before. So for example, in the...
I mean, I could do it, right? Also. There we go. Shite.
All the way at the top, we have two packed scenes, the meteor scene and the level scene. The same thing I want to do for the main game scene, so let's call it the var level scene, which has to be a packed scene.
Okay, so let's use the packed
with level.tscn. And this is what we want to pass into this change scene to packed method. Level scene. Let's try. If I now run all
just
of this,
an alternative. This way we could drag them over and configure in the editor at some point.
At the beginning, so all of this is working pretty good.
At least that's how I would use it.
Sometimes you want to select one specific scene to load, and this you can do in the editor via export once again. If I now go to Game Over, we can select a level scene right in the editor. So if you go to quick load, then you can select all of the scenes in the game. In my case, the level. And the output would still be exactly the same. If I now get hit, there we go. Everything works just as before. Next up then, we have to implement the timer.
Lovely.
At the moment in the level, the timer is simply a static number. It's actually in the UI. There we have the label that just doesn't do anything. It's a static number. To make this one more interactive, I want to give the entire scene a timer, which I can call the score timer. And basically, once we're starting this, it is going to trigger once every second, and it keeps on going forever. As a matter of fact, we can simply set auto start to true, and then it's going to start right away with the rest of the game. After that, we can go to signals and connect the signal to the UI.
Increasing the score,
and there,
right?
basically what we want to do is do something like time elapsed and then plus equal 1 every time the timer triggers out. This time elapsed doesn't exist right
now. Score timer. Time elapsed plus 1.
now. So let's create a variable with time elapsed, and this one should be an integer. I suppose a bit more explicit way of doing this would be semicolon equals 0.
Okay, let's do that. So we'll go to our UI, gameplay UI, I called it. Time elapsed. We have 0, we set it to integer, and in our level, where did he create it? No, he did it in the UI actually. In our UI, we can create not game over UI in the normal UI. Yeah, great naming, right? Add child node timer. And the timer will be every 1 second. Auto start. Okay. And on signal timeout, we're gonna connect it to the script at UI on timer cancel, not timer. Let's name it score timer. There we go. On score timer timeout, we're basically doing time elapsed. Increased by 1. Okay, so we've got what
that way you know exactly
we
what
did.
start value is, although those two would be equivalent. But anyway, now we have time elapsed, and let's just print what we are getting. Time elapsed. If I now run the game, we should be seeing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on.
Our score, I presume.
All we have to figure out now is how to actually show this in the score. That part is fairly easy. All we have to do is get the label inside of the margin container. And on this, we want to update the text, which has to be a string of time elapsed.
Okay, I can live with that. So I'm gonna make it into float. And I'm gonna increase it by 0.0001. Because why not? It's a fun, stupid idea. So we can get this label is it. This is it, right? We're gonna make a score. Or score label, even better, score label. And we're just gonna plop it here. Dot text. Margin container. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay. Is time elapsed, and I just do it string. I just convert like this. That's what he did. Yeah. Sure. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, we're getting points. Bam. And I would need to pass it on upon death to show up here. So that's how you send data between scenes or something? Because that's tricky. How do they do that?
After 1 second, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Meaning all that we have to do in the scene, we have to update the default value to 0. That way, I can run off this again, and now we get 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. That looks pretty good. With that, we have a working UI. However, there's one more problem, and that is, I do get the UI, but now if I go to the game over screen, the score is always going to be 0.
Exactly.
That is because at the moment, we have no way to connect the level health to the game over health. Now you could put game over inside of a group and then work via that. That would be one
Something tells me we're going to make a singleton class.
way to approach it. However, since I want to cover a variety of ways, I want to cover another approach, and that is to use a global script. When I look at the file system in the bottom, I want to create a new folder, which I do by right-clicking and then create a new folder. You can also create a scene, a script, or something else. I want to create a new folder and call it global. Then Godot.
Told ya. So, new folder, global.
Is going to do a thing for a second, and then we have a new folder. Sometimes it gets stuck in this view, you just have to save it and then it updates. In there, I now want to create a new script, and this one needs to have a name. I want to call it global. Also, it should be empty by default. If I now create it.
Okay. Right click, create new script. Empty. And what the hell do you call it?
I have a new script that I can click on and oh.
Global. Inside global. Great naming. Sure. Why did you need folder then? Okay, and we can open it up, I presume. It doesn't auto-open, which kind of sucks.
We have this extends node. Node is the most simple node in Godot, and the script is always attached to a node. But this one isn't going to do very much. That's okay though, because in there, we only want to store a single variable. Let's call it the score, which can be 0 by default. Also, I want to make sure that this is always an integer. Now, we have one script, and this script I want to have available in literally every scene. And for that, I can go to project settings, and
okay. Var, score. We start with 0. Perfect. Project settings, and it'll be, I think, globals. Auto load, and we can or press add to create. Where is add? Here's add. Huh?
And there we have auto load. This one automatically loads the script into every single scene. And the way you're using it is, first of all, you select a scene, which in my case is in global and global.gd. Then we have to give it a name. And this is how you would target this kind of script anywhere inside of the game. Global is usually a pretty good name. And now...
Okay. So you just give it a name. Okay, I see. So we select our script. This will be... Node name will be global. Okay. Add. And additionally, we have a checkbox as a global variable. Oh, so first it gives it... Wait, not? Why would we have this thing? I guess that's to disable temporarily or something.
You have to click on add, and you can also enable or disable it. And this is all you have to do. And basically what happened now, if I run the game and go to the editor and remote, there you can see we have global. And if I go to the game over screen, now in remote you can see we are...
In that case, I want to make it. Export it so that I can actually preview it, right? So if I'm going to run the game... Oh, YouTube is detecting some weird stuff, so I might be actually lagging again. Interesting. Okay, so now in remote we have the global. And in global you can see that the score is 0 because we're not setting it. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so
also still have global.
Before he says what to do with it, I want to check because something tells me this is gonna be Extremely easy. So we had the gameplay UI, and we're saying time elapsed, this and that. So what we can do, I believe, is basically go with global. There we go. Global dot score. There we go. Plus equals that score. Okay. So we're gonna every second we're gonna increase the score maybe by that much, 1,000th of a point. And we update the label because why not? Okay. Good. So let's see if it works. Oh, I see. Because I set the global to be a integer instead of a float. And now we're talking. Cool. Okay. So if that's the case, that's good. And I'm just gonna, for my sanity sake, I'm gonna make func update. Screw the underscores. It's disgusting. Update score label. Okay, I'm just gonna do that, and it should figure that out on its own. And I just want one word. And the same thing, I want the on function ready. I want to update score label as well so that we start with 0. So run. Didn't work. Why? Oh, ready. There we go. Now we started with proper scoring. Cool. Whee, and bam, bam. And the last thing will be to probably update it here so I can actually do it myself at that point. Starting to grow up in Godot world. So on UI game over. On ready, we're just gonna do update the score. So points. What's the contents of the points though? Where's like the contents? Okay, I just need to display it that way. Hello, Mythical Coffee. What language is this? This is Godot script. It's specifically language designed for the Godot game engine. And I've just figured out for the game jam, I might as well use whatever this language is. It looks like Python. It's not Python. It's like their custom implementation that kind of looks like Python. But it has types and whatnot, so that's interesting. It's a weird combination, but it works pretty well for the engine because it's like hyper optimized for that specific scenario. Text equals, and I think I can just indent it here. I hope. So it'll be points and plus string of the global dot score. If I save it, it's unhappy. And look at that. We have actually, the nice thing about it is that we have, you know, like errors straight here in the editor, which is awesome. And I think it has this feature. We can do slash or the other slash. Nope. Oh, the other slash means like, hey, I'm gonna write in the next line. So that's that. Is that strange bash-like functionality. All right, so this should set the points when we start a game. I mean, when we load the scene, which is every time we fail, this should load. So I want to see it in action, okay? Let me just hit it a few times. Come on. Bam, do that. And we have our points. They transfer. We got 0.006 point. Awesome. Press space to die again. There we go. Oh no, the global isn't reset. That's the thing. That's another thing. When our level starts, global dot score is 0. Reset the score. Cool. I can live with that. So what else is in the tutorial?
Which is really useful because with that system, we have the score available everywhere. And we can both change it and read it. Which means inside of the UI, when we are increasing time elapsed, I also want to increase the score. And for that, we want to go to global and then get the score. And simply set this to the time elapsed. After that, inside of the game over script, when this scene is starting, meaning in func_score ready, we want to update this score text. And for that, inside of the inspector, I can get rid of the score 0 and simply keep the score, and let's say semicolon. All we have to do now is get the current text and then add the score at the end. For that, first of all, we have to get the label node. You might want to give it a custom name, but I simply want to get label 2, and then Godot gives me a hint with usually the correct answer. And on there, I want to update the text. And by the way, this text you can both write on and read, which means the proper value for this one could be, and let me expand all of this, the current text, and then plus a string of global.score. And now with that, I can run the entire game.
Plus
and
equals.
if I get hit a couple of times, we get a score of 0. If I start off this again, we start again with 0, and let me survive a few more seconds.
Yeah, he speaks really slowly.
And this I can do over and over again. It always works.
Sometimes it just feels like a real waste of time.
All of the game. Although there's one part that I did forget to include, and that is the lasers should destroy the meteors. That part though is fairly easy. All we have to do inside of the meteors,
in this case,
we already have
3 times would be even more useful.
And
but
that of the meteor selected, we know that the only
I
area
guess I would need to
have
have plugins
is going to be the laser, meaning every time
to
it
enable
entered, we
that.
know a laser has entered. So I want to connect this signal, and now
Okay.
if that is the case, I first of all want to get the area that has entered and then Q3 it, which means we're going to remove it. And after that, I want to Q3 the meteor as well. That way, we're getting rid both of the laser and of the meteor. Let's try, and let me try to hit the
Okay,
meteor. That looks pretty
so
good.
he can
And
hit
there we
meteors
go.
with laser.
Cool, this is working. Finally, the debugger is complaining, and that's never a good sign. And all we get is that on body entered, the body has never been used. So we should be getting underscore before that. If I now run this again, the debugger seems to be happy. Although let's go to game over, and there we get another debugger problem. So let's check this one out. And then there, we're never using delta and pros.
Okay, screw the debugger problems. So now we need to add the thing that, because does Godot run Python? No, it's not Python. It doesn't run Python. It just looks like Python, but it's a completely different implementation. It calls basically C++ behind the scenes, whatever Godot is running, and it has its own kind of execution bytecode thing. I don't know exactly how it works, but I can specify types. It has different, like, oh, this is this type, this is that type. You can export, which will show it in the editor, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's a custom language just for the engine. And that is gonna take a shower, right? Enjoy a shower. All right, so in the case of this thingy here, we have a little bit different situation, because when meteor hits the player, we remove 1 health from it, and I would like the meteor to, poof, explode, because because what? Because we don't want the meteor to hit the player twice, which is what is happening now. So let's go to meteor, and we have the whole thing on body entered, and we can copy the code that we used in the player, because in the player we said if body is in group meteors, and in this case I set it up so I can say if the body that hit the meteor is player, players, right? Then I could just basically do Q3 or something like this, and this will delete the meteor. Let's see if that works. As the first step. Boop. Yep, it hit me. Boop. It's actually funny. Yeah. Bam. Bam. And they won't be able to hit me again. Great. And you're dead. Awesome. So that works, but I don't want them just to poof. I want them to actually, have an explosion or something. Of course, an extremely crude one, but nonetheless, I would like to have an explosion. So for the meteor, I would like to export variable dust scene, okay, or something like that, which will be of type packed scene, and this will be this little dust particle that will define. So let's quick load. Now scene's dust. There we go. So this should make it. Wait, I need to see that dust thing. What the hell does it look like? Yeah, it's on 0, 0, and this is a scene where it just does the few frames and disappears. So in our meteor, we could basically spawn few of those and call it a day. All right. So Let me think. Oh, I actually can't spawn them just like that inside a meteor parent and spawn them inside the parent. Okay, that's doable. So let's think. Let's go to code. Let's do when instead of calling this, let's make another function which will be func destroy meteor. Okay. And we'll be able to call it here. Bam. And that will destroy it. But I mean, we can first queue up its deletion. Mythical Coffee says, I tried to use gdevelop, but as far as I know, you can't write code for it. What the hell is gdevelop? It sounds so familiar. Gdevelop. Let's use this browser. Gdevelop. Game engine. Oh, gdevelop. Interesting. Oh, okay. It's one of those paid ones. First game for free and then everything. Oh yeah, that's one of those paid ones. Yeah, Godot is open source. And it, over the last few years, it just exploded in popularity. And it's actually pretty easy. Like, I'm astounded how easy it is. In my opinion, it's easier to pick up than something like Unity, which is quite an achievement. Alright, so getting back to code. So when we have our meteor, I would like to spawn a few of those dust particles. And we already have the random number generator, which is kind of fun, but we're gonna just spawn another one when we need it here. So we're gonna get a random number generator, and for I in maybe 5 of those dusts, right? Because that's how we can iterate over them, we just learned. We're gonna make it so that what? We create, so it'll be var dust node is dust scene instantiate, okay. And then we need to get the parent of the current node. Get parent, there we go, get parent, add child dust node. And I also want to position it a little bit, so before even after we add it, we can do dust node. Oh, yeah, dust node. Dot position will be position of the meteor, and we add a random vector to it. Okay, so it'll be plus a vector 2, where x will be rng dot random f in a range from minus 30 pixels to 30 pixels, and the same thing will be for the y coordinate. And let's see what happens. Let's see if that works. We have it attached here. Yeah. Mythical Coffee says, I literally just looked up Beginner Game Engine and clicked one of the first links. Yeah, I would be skeptical about some of... Oh, okay, look at that. We got the dust. It worked. So the thing is that depending on the list, you can have various approaches. For beginner, I would 100% recommend Godot right now. Are you used to other programming languages? What is your level? Oh, what is your level of knowledge of programming? Art, as in, you know, like game-related art and overall game dev. Maybe I can suggest a good choice for you to start with. Okay, that worked. I'm just gonna do it instead of 30s everywhere. I'm just gonna do 50s. And I'm happy with that. And additionally, don't we have like a node for the dust? Because I would like to call something on it. So let's go to the dust and maybe not. Let's just keep it in the meteor, and we're just gonna do dust node dot because then we have rotation degrees is, we probably don't have that. Is RNG dot random f range from 0 to, I don't know, 6 or something. 2 times pi. Okay? That should be all the possible rotations. So let's see if that improves anything. Bam. Okay, that looks better. Bam. Okay, we got puffs. I like puffs in here. Bam. Well, they kind of show up in a weird location, but I guess I can live. No, they're good. They're good. Okay, program 2 out of 5, art 4 out of 5, game development 0 out of 5. Okay, so with art, are you good with 3D or 2D? What is your current preference? What is kind of easier for you to understand as an artist? Where, you know, what are you more comfortable with in art? 2D or 3D? Let's do dust node. First of all, this will be as rigid body 2D. Okay, this is gonna simplify things. Apply a central impulse, and the direction we just want a random vector again. So we're just gonna do this funny thing, which will be from negative ones and ones here to the same thing here. And we're gonna do times, I don't know, dust node dot mass. We'll see if they will move or something. Okay, 2D pixel. All right, so if you're into 2D pixel, with programming your 2 out of 5, I would strongly recommend Godot engine. I would actually strongly recommend this tutorial that I start going through here, or maybe even not. For beginners, if we go to YouTube, okay, and we're gonna go to Godot tutorial, sure. There should be Brackies. That's a channel that was really popular. You can see like 1.9 million subscribers. And they were making videos like 3 years ago about Unity. But I don't recommend you going to Unity. It's lost cause. I don't recommend it, at least at this moment. I wouldn't trust them. They have a video that they posted 3 months ago, which is something that's gonna nicely explain you the overall concepts, so you can start understanding what the heck is the engine about and how to work with it. And then overall, you know, how good you will have, you know, what we'll make, cooking with assets, whatever, how Godot works, player 1.0, where we'll go over, you know, like some animations, how to compose things together, how to get your tiles into some basic stuff. So maybe less of programming at this point, more of how to use the tools to get something on a screen, and something where you start understanding how to work with the engine. because you can think of something like a game engine often in terms of it's like a Photoshop, Illustrator, and maybe After Effects and a bunch of other big software packages mashed into one thing. Because remember, game engine, it draws the graphics for you. That's one thing. Then it handles audio. Then it handles physics. Then it handles, programming and scripting with it. Handles managing these files. It just does like surprising a lot. So sometimes it's easy to get lost in it. This should really do something, how to build the world, and then we'll build programming, how to make a little pickup that you can actually start writing very simple code. Very simple and code that is, let's say, the Godot script so far seems like it's very forgiving. It's not kind of C++ where it screams at you every time you do tiniest thing wrong. This should be forgiving, less room for errors. Scene switching with dying, things like that. More world building, maybe adding an enemy. Improving our player, and how to add some text, maybe a score, some sounds, and at the end, even export, how to export the whole thing. So, as the tutorial is maybe hour and 20 minutes, it should take you maybe 5 hours to complete it, 6 hours if you're doing just what they're showing you. And that should give you a good foundation as a start. And the thing is, Godot has amazing community. It's open source, so paid stuff. And I would say it's a great basis where in the future, maybe you want to switch to something like Unreal Engine. A lot of those concepts will translate, while this is not something as overwhelming as Unity can sometimes be. So yeah, I would recommend Godot at this point. Go for it. Okay, getting back here, we have our poof happening. I just wanted to see if the poof will also make things move, because I added some forces, hoping that the dust will start going in some direction. Okay. So, let me think. Let's do it that way. I'm going to do, again, the scripting for the meteor. Because right now I'm trying to apply an impulse, but maybe I will just override the dust node dot velocity, linear velocity, to be this, to be basically this node's, the meteor's linear velocity times 0.8, let's do 7 or something, so it slows down. I'm gonna ignore this part and let's see what happens, because I would like the dust to keep flying the direction that the meteor was, because that would be a cool effect. If something can actually hit me. Bam! There we go. Bam! Bam! That looks actually dynamic. Awesome. We're gonna increase the dust to 10, because why the heck not? Should be more fun. And anything else? I mean, I would like to re-add that kind of additional weird feel to it. Times 1000? Because I want to add some variation to it. Whoa, that's a little bit too much. Okay. Bam. At this point, it straight up explodes, so maybe something like 40? Playing around with numbers, seeing what sticks. I'll just sit here and wait for something to hit me. Which will take 3 years. Bam. Okay, that looks good. Good. Let's just make it actually less spready. And I'll call it a day. This looks good. Okay. I'm gonna stick with that. So we have done thing happening. But now I want to also, if the body is in group players, I want the meteor to explode and not add any points. Mythical Coffee says, thanks for the help. I was kinda inspired by Window Kill, and I thought if something so complex can be made in a user-friendly engine, why should I start anywhere else? So, considering that you already know something about programming, and you know something about art, that already takes away lots of potential pain points for you. Some of those really simple engines where you don't even need to deal with programming, they kind of oversimplify things at some point. The thing is that you often have things abstracted away to the point where you're kind of not learning the things that you kind of should learn. And here, you probably won't go straight into physics or other stuff, so you won't be touching those things. But you'll still learn a very similar concept to engines like Unity and Unreal Engine, where in case you need to expand upon something, or maybe you need to ask a question to somebody about something else, you actually start learning the language that is common for all the game developers. I am not familiar with the GDevelop, but I would expect that just like with something like, RPG Maker or whatever, it's gonna try to oversimplify some things. So in your case, if you know already something about programming, it won't be, hitting a wall like, oh my gosh, what I do. Simple stuff you can do really easily. I mean, I'm making things overly complex because I know a little about game development, even though this is my second day of trying Godot. But because it uses all those terms, it's easy for me to pick it up, considering that I worked in Unity, 10 years ago and tinkered with Unreal Engine from time to time on my own. So, I'm able to pick it up. But for very simple stuff, Godot won't be complex. And the nice thing about it is, in case you want to know what the hell is instantiate, hold Control, click, and you have documentation right here in the engine. You scroll up, you have description about what is the packed scene and what is it about, examples, so you don't even need to go online to search for it, you just have it here. So, yeah. I am shocked how friendly it is, how user-friendly it is. So, we've got this thing, so we're doing, so basically if we hit the player, or we hit the other meteor, we want to destroy the meteor. But, if, I presume, if we hit the, what's the groups that we have? Projectiles. I want to not only destroy the meteor, I also want to add the points. So global dot score plus equals, what would that be? Uh, 0.1 score per meteor destroyed or something like that. Set score. Let's call it set score. Okay. This way, we're gonna add in our global basically a function. What is it? Func set score. New score, which will be float. And this will not only set the score to be that new score, but also to do update UI, because that's the thing I would like to do. So for that, I want to have a reference to the UI, var UI. And that should be of type, what the type would be for UI. I'm gonna go over to UI. Let's do gameplay UI. Okay. Gameplay UI. Gameplay UI will be. Let's just do it Node 2D. Or is it Node 2D? What the hell is this thing? Gameplay UI. Canvas layer. Canvas layer is a node. Let's just do it here. Global will be just node. Okay, that's it. That's all we need to know. It's a node. And therefore we can go to gameplay UI. Dot and update score. That's what we're gonna call it. Okay, just update score on the UI, gameplay UI. Do we have that here? Update score label. There we go. And it's just gonna update itself. So, bam. This way, if we're gonna run the set score, that's gonna run it back to the UI, and UI will update itself, taking the score from the global. Therefore, I need to have this global gameplay UI set, and for that, I can make it that, hey, if gameplay UI is, when gameplay UI is getting ready, actually go to global, gameplay UI, and set it to this or self, that's it. There we go. That should make it work. And we're just gonna do global dot set score. It'll be a score plus this. Okay. And we don't even call to this. There we go. Okay. GDevelop doesn't even have if statements. What? How do you make games without if statements? They maybe called it branch or something. Weird. Huh. Maybe you have if statements in paid version. I mean, nowadays there's no need to have an engine that you need to pay for, because Unity is technically free. Godot, which is amazing for 2D and basic 3D, 100% free and open source. Unreal Engine is practically free unless you have, a game that earns, unless you have a company that earns more than $1 million a year, which means that, if you just start out, it's for free. So, no, I don't want paid engines. That's a ripoff. Okay. So this should work, hopefully. Let's see if it works. But I will actually do it like this. If gameplay UI is not null, only then update it. Otherwise, we don't have reference to it, so don't try to update it. And that's it. I want to see it. Oh, error. I cannot assign a new value to constant. Oh, yeah. What? I seriously tried to do that. The score plus this, and that should be good enough. So let's start again. Okay, that works. And we can just hit them. Look at that. That actually starts to look half decent. Wow, this dust looks not the worst. You would be horrified. Mr. Coffee, you'll be horrified if you would see what I made the dust from. Woo! I need to show you the dust. If I go to the dust, bam, this is the dust particle. This. And we have this frame. And wait, Can I just select which frame is being shown? No, but I mean, these are my frames. That's it. Just draw some dots, grow them, grow them, grow them, grow them. And when you layer a few of them together and add rotations and movement, even though we have 5 frames of animation, which takes at rate of 5 FPS, it doesn't suck. Huh. Ow, ow. So yeah, that's totally not bad. And I want them to collide with each other, and I want to see that. Unless they're gonna kill me first. Because I saw some puffs here and there. Oh, that was a close one there. Come on, collide, collide. Bam! Yes, yes. Okay, that I actually like that. It looks great. Cool. So this starts to become a game now that we have them, destroying each other. So I'm gonna skip the whole thing where cannonball can hit the player. That's just too much programming for this little tutorial. What the heck else? I wanted to add. I wonder if he adds that. Let's see, because the other thing I want to add is that when meteors get past certain point off screen, they should delete themselves, and the same thing goes for the cannonballs. Because of course, in a tutorial they want to shoot lasers, but I decided, you know what, this spaceship won't be shooting lasers. It's gonna shoot a cannonball that has flames coming out of it, because of course we know there are no flames in the space, so let's add them. Alright.
And actually, that's a good thing, because in there, I want to demonstrate something else. So you could simply add an underscore in there, and that would fix the issue. However, we only want to get input in here, and the process function is a bit of an overkill for that. A better function would be underscore input. And this one gives you the input event. The way you would be using that is very similar compared to what we have done up here. In fact, I do want to copy all of that, and let me go to full screen. All we have to do is change input to event. Although this event is not as powerful as the input class. It, for example, doesn't have is action just pressed, but it does have is action pressed. Meaning with that, we're getting the proper input. That means we can get
You should try and add auto braking in the ship. It won't stop instantly, but slow it down. Yeah, like, it fires off little thrusters to slow it down overall, so you can actually stop somewhere. Yeah, it could be done. It was surprising a lot of effort to make it turn properly and move around, because actually some of it's physics, which is fun. I just didn't bother adding that. Alright, take care then. It was nice seeing you here. Okay, so let's get back to this.
Get rid of process, and everything else should work just fine. Also, what you can do, let me go back to the scene.
So wait, we can just do input and that's it? Seriously? Because I guess I missed it.
Oh, let's check this one out. And in there, we're never using delta in process. And actually, that's a good thing, because in there, I want to demonstrate something else. So you could simply add an underscore in there, and that would fix the issue. However, we only want to get input in here, and the process function is a bit of an overkill for that. A better function would be underscore input. And this one gives you the input event. The way you would be using that is very similar compared to what we have done up here. In fact, I do want to copy all of that, and let me go to full screen. All we have to do is change input to event. Although this event is not as powerful as the input class. It, for example, doesn't have is action just pressed, but it does have is action pressed. Meaning with that, we're getting the proper input. That means we can get rid of process, and everything else should work just fine. Also, what you can do, let me go back to the scene. If you simply want to test a single scene, like game over, you can go to this icon.
Okay, so
also, that means we can get rid of very similar compared to what we have done up here. In fact, I do want to copy all of that, and let me go to full screen. All we have to do is change input to event. Although this event is not as powerful as the input class. It, for example, doesn't have is action just pressed, but it does have is action pressed.
Oh, and the event was gonna probably get fired only once, right? Okay, so I like that. I really like that. So let's go to script, and we had it, for example, in the game over, right? So we do input, we get the event. So what do we have on the event? Accept event. Oh. Interesting. Is action just pressed? No. I guess this should be fine, right? So let's quickly die, which is the opposite what I can actually do. Okay, we got one hit. Oof. Bam, 2, 3. And That'll be a difficult game, not the one where it's hard to die. Okay. Space still works. Good. Cool.
Meaning with that, we're getting the proper input. That means we can get rid of process, and everything else should work just fine. Also, what you can do, let me go back to the scene. If you simply want to test a single scene, like game over, you can go to this icon at the top and run the current scene, and then we go straight to this particular scene. If we now press space, we're starting the game. And that is looking pretty good. Everything else still works just fine. And with that, we have a proper game. Now, this isn't the end of the series. There's going to be one more video where we're going to add the sound. That one's really important. But on top of that, I'm going to cover some other nodes that could be helpful if you want to go further in Godot. I'll see you there. Hello there, and welcome to the Speedrunning Godot game. This is going to be the final video, and we basically already finished the entirety of the game. However, I would like to add some extra things. A few of those I am going to actually keep in the game, like sounds and particle effects. However, there are also going to be some things that are going to be a bit more advanced that I do want to cover, but that aren't really going to be useful for our game, like a camera, for example. But if you want to go further in Godot, those are really important concepts that you should know about. So let's jump right in. Here we are in Godot, and the one topic we haven't covered at all yet is audio. But if you look at the file system at the bottom, we have audio files, quite a few actually. Also, we have different formats like WAV and OGG. You could also use MP3, that would work totally fine. To use them, let's start with the player, because in there, when the player is pressing space, I want to spawn a laser. And while doing that,
so we need a shooting sound. So let's get a shooting sound. Oh, you're back. OpenGL3. Oh, so OpenGL, you can think of it as a very low level library or like kind of API. The like functions you can call from your code that do simple things when it comes to graphics card. You have OpenGL, it's like open graphics library, which works on most of the graphics card, including things like Raspberry Pi. Then you have DirectX, which is, you know, like really high end for Windows. And then you also have Vulkan, which is like an extra fancy standard, like motor standard that kind of spun out of OpenGL. So anything game development, you don't have to worry about it. Just ignore it. That's over time you might start understanding how it works. Or, I don't know, just read up roughly on it. Just really, really don't worry about it. Okay, I need audio. Sounds. Okay, so let's go to audio sounds, and can I just search for Canon? Do I have the Canon sounds? What's this? Oh. Oof. That'll be a little bit too loud. It might be really loud for you guys. So I'm gonna lower it. I like this one. So let's copy it. And I'm gonna plop in the game files. Let me just check if I have actually sounds enabled for desktop. Yeah, desktop audio is okay. Good. Godot project space shooter, and let's do new folder audio. And we're just gonna have weapon cannon shot 2. That's cool. What else? We need a thruster. Or thrust. Sci-fi vehicle thrusters pass. Nope. Rocket. I'm in the US and it's 1:09 a.m. So it's nice at night. Oof. These are really bad. Let's just do fire. Maybe we'll get a little bit more. Fireball conjure, no thank you. I just want generic fire. Come on, fire loop. Sure, that's gonna be good enough for our game. Bam. And what kind of time is at your place? Alrighty, so we've got that cannon. We need some kind of do we have rock sounds? Earthquake impact, not really. I just want some kind of hit for rocks for the thingy. I mean, we shouldn't have any sounds in this space game, but whatever. Okay, so I kind of like those. Large. Yeah, that's good. Spike trap, fallen debris, landslide, bullet impact rock. Oh, these would be perfect. Let's just grab this for the bullet impact when cannonball hits the meteor. And rock door slide, no thank you. And we're gonna grab this large smashable 3 as when the thingy breaks. Okay, and okay. What else? Do we have any other sounds? Ah, same as you. Look at that. You're in the US or north or south of it. Okay, so yeah, let's start with those. Let's see what
I also want to play the laser sound. For that, we will need a new node. It is called an audio stream player. And pay close attention. We have 3 different kinds. We have an audio stream player, an audio stream player 2D, and an audio stream player 3D. The 3D one doesn't matter for our purposes. The difference between 2D and the plain one is that the 2D one respects the position, i.e. the further away you are from the sound, the quieter it becomes, whereas the audio stream player always plays at the same volume. For our purposes, the difference here really doesn't matter. I'm going to stick with the 2D one. Let's rename it right away to laser sound, and then
okay, laser sound. So we just add the 2D node for playing sounds. Okay, that sounds easy enough. So let's go to our player and add child node will be audio stream player 2D. Sure, create, and it'll be laser sound player. Laser sound. Okay. All right. See you later. Okay, laser sound, and we can just make it to have a specific sound to play, right? No. Stream. Quick load. Oh, there we go. So this will be weapon cannon shot. Bam. Okay. Can I play it? There we go. Cool.
If you look on the right, the only really important attribute that we care about is the stream.
But does it show up somewhere here as a node I can actually move? Yeah. It shows up. I would like to have 2. 1 and 2. Sound 1 and sound 2. I'm just gonna make them single word. There we go. And this way we'll have one on this side and the other one on this side, wherever we shoot the cannonballs. Because they're 2D sounds, they kind of move, right? So let's see.
This one wants to have an audio file. At the moment, it's empty. If you go to quick load, then you can see all of your music files for this kind of attribute. I want to go with laser. If you click on playing, you should be able to hear it. You can also adjust the volume and do other things with it, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. All we have to figure out now is how to play the sound. For that, I want to get the laser sound and then simply play it. That's all we need.
Okay.
If I run the game, cool, that works just fine. With that,
all right, so we're gonna do the same. The only thing is that in the player, we actually need to kind of get those nodes a little bit differently. So player, how the hell do we get it here? On shooting timer, timeout, receive recall force. Shoot on the shooting timer. Okay. hard point, we just grab the hard points and do this. Oh, I see. So we could do the same thing here. We're just gonna make it hard point sound players. Will be array of what they call it, audio stream player 2D. I don't think it matters much here, but basically, what do we have here? Hard point. We select which hard point. So bar sound player is next. Hard point index. There, our sound player. So we basically apply this thing, and we just do sound player dot as audio player 2D. There we go. Dot play. All right. We're just gonna do that. We're just gonna play the sound, and I just need to hook them up. So hard point 1 and 2. Okay, so that we hard points. I want this thingy to be again 2, where we have laser 1 and laser 2. There we go. And now we should have sound for when we're shooting, right? Horrible, but yeah, our cannonballs shoot nicely. Oh, the engine is like struggling a little bit. I presume it's because we're just shoving it at max, playing it at max volume. So let's do, wow. Sure, let's start with that. We can adjust volume of everything else around it at some point. There we go, and let's try it again. That's better. And what about the pitch? I would like to have some kind of random number generator. So let's do var RNG is, where do we use random number generator? Inside the meteor, right? So wait, meteor RNG here. So for the player, I would just let's do it here. A generic one, right? Okay, we got the global one that's get created whenever player gets created, and therefore we can just, instead of play, we're gonna do sound player dot pitch scale. Yeah, pitch scale. So equals, and I guess that'll be a float because that's what makes sense. RNG random float and range from 0.9 to 1.1. And suddenly they should be playing a little bit nicer, hopefully. Wow, that is a little bit too much variation. 95 to 05. Cool. Cool, I like the sound. It's a silly sound, but why not? So what else do you see?
We can do the final exercise of this series. I want you guys to add all of the music files to the game. I think the name explains what they are going to do. So pause the video now and try to figure this one out on your own.
I don't got my music files. What I want to do is sounds when I have any thrusters running. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have single, not laser sound, but we're gonna make it into a let's just plop it somewhere here. I'm just gonna make it thruster sound. Just gonna make one sound. Let's choose a different one. Quick load. Fire loop. Okay. Horrible, but it's gonna work. Let's just make it even quieter. Oh, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, that's gonna be good enough. All right. We have the sound. So now, how do we make it? Is actually make a sound. So we calculate the thrust, and so basically we show those depending of either we have angular thrust that's not 0 or thrust that is not 0. So we can make the sound in a similar way. If thrust is larger than 0 or angular thrust is different than 0, then we're gonna play the thruster sound. So we're gonna do thruster sound. Play. Okay. And otherwise, if it's not, we need to stop playing it, right? So is there like some like stop? Stop. There we go. Let's see if that works. That should be it to make sound. What the heck? Oh, and thrust can be negative, so I guess it's different. What's up with that sound? Oh, because I see, because we're trying to restart it every frame. And so let's just have those two. The other thing is that we want to also check if our thingy is already playing. How do we do that? Dot area autoplay finished. Playing. So if not playing and some of this, play it. Otherwise, stop. There we go. Sure. Oh no, because else. So otherwise, if already playing, now let's make it a little bit different. With this whole thing, if it's not playing, okay, if it's not playing a sound yet, and I need to basically do that, right? Well, let's keep it simple. If it's not playing a sound, then we check. Then basically play it if done. Otherwise, if already playing a sound, I can reverse them. There we go. So if we have conditions met for playing a sound, why is that simple logic kind of blocking me suddenly? Feardrop1 says, have you ever made a game before? Kind of, yes. I know, 10 or 8 years ago or something between, I was working in a game development studio, working with Unity and making MMO out of all things. Year later, I just left and the game kind of was already falling apart. And past that, not really completed any proper game. Not something that, I would publish somewhere. I just played around here and there, but I'm just starting to learn Godot from scratch at this point. How about you? Did you make something before? And Edwin Shadow Steel, thank you for following. If you're still on the stream, I know I need to set up to have some of those notifications when somebody follows. It's just I have my own overlay and I haven't gotten to programming.in yet. Yes, Game Jam. Is that what you're preparing for? Exactly. The Game Developer Toolkit YouTube channel, every year they organize the like a game jam, and it will start next Friday. So I'm planning to participate. I found other guy to work with, and possibly 3 other guys. I don't know if we're gonna actually have the group of 5 people yet. So I'm just trying to be able to do something in Godot. Yep, and I'll be live streaming a big chunk of it. I know on Friday I'll probably stream for something like 6 hours. And then Saturday and Sunday I'll be streaming probably 2 streams throughout the day. One maybe something like, I don't know, maybe 12 hours of live stream. That's what I'm hoping at least for. And a little bit more on Monday night. So yeah, I want to put some stuff into it. It's just hard to marry it with, work and a wife. So I don't want to do like, oh, I'm gonna do 20 hours a day or something I would do probably 10 years ago. Okay, what the hell was I doing? So if we have conditions met that we should be starting to play the what the hell, to start playing to play the thruster sound. If we haven't started yet, we start to play it. Otherwise, if those conditions are not met, we just stop it. Okay, that's a proper condition to check, proper order to check for things. All right, let's try it. There we go. It's really bad, but it works. That's so stupid. Oh dear. Okay, so that works. So now we can add another sound, which is in the meteor itself. Inside the meteor itself, I want to add, I'm actually gonna copy this sound because I already have the volume kind of quite down. So it'll be, the sound will be for the explosion sound whenever the thing explodes. So quick load, and we're gonna make it rock smashable, hit, impact, large. Okay. Okay, let's make it large, so pitch scale. Ah, it changes the speed too. So let's leave it 1. We don't want it too long. Cool. Good enough. Oh, this is gonna be tricky. Because if we're gonna delete this node, because the moment we hit a meteor, we delete it. So if explosion is a part of it, it might stop playing. If the thing. So let's try it. We have the destroy meteor. So if that happens, I'm just gonna want to play the sound of destroying it, right? So something tells me it's just gonna not play it. See? No sound. So I would probably need, what I would probably need to do is get parent, add child, explosion sound, but then what? Then it's gonna, I need to spawn a sound, a thing that plays a sound and deletes itself afterwards. Because if I'm gonna do that, it's just gonna spawn that node. You'll probably hear the sound. Oh no, because it already has a parent. Try to return a value of method that returns void. Oh, yeah, of course. So let's do let sound player is this. Oof, come on. And this will be, we're gonna pass the sound player, and then we're gonna sound player.play. Not let bar. Okay, let's see if that works. Gosh, it's so janky. No, still no sound. Huh. Dark Knight Wolfie says, can't you play sound, then cue free? So the thing that you can learn about game engine is that, again, various game engines, is that when you try to destroy something, in this case, you know, cue free means like, hey, destroy, it's called on self, so this whole meteor should be poof and disappear, right? It looks like that, but what happens is that we're actually queuing freeing of the resources of it and actual deletion till the end of frame. This is because sometimes you don't know what order things will happen, and you very likely might be in a situation where some other things, maybe we're checking collision with it and whatnot. You know, you're processing it, this destroy meteor in one thing, but you have some other scripts that do something else, and maybe in the same frame at the same time something happened, and you would suddenly have like, wait, this doesn't exist anymore, or something. So what various game engines do is that when you kill the object, it's being queued till the end of the frame when we are for sure, you know, when it's guaranteed that everything was already updated, calculated, and only then it's gonna delete it. Another problem with this early destroying would be, what if you have it in a loop already iterating somewhere else? Again, you would have a problem. So this only queues up the freeing. So even if I would call it after the sound, the thing is that the sound plays throughout multiple frames, and you know, the game won't be waiting for this to finish playing before it queues it up to free or something. So that's that. And I want to actually start deleting stuff because this is a like physics object, so other stuff will be colliding with it. I need to destroy it as fast as possible. So what I think I will need to do is just make a little fun thingy. Let's make this explosion sound into a separate scene. So we're gonna make it scenes. We're just gonna make explosion sound. Sure. Okay, that's a scene. We can open it up. So we can add a timer to it. And how long is this sound? We get info. 2 seconds. So I'm gonna set that timer to be 2 seconds. And after that timer, I can basically go to node signals and say, when you finish the timer, I can link it to, and I can actually pick a method existing from oh, what? Why can't I see? I should be able to call stuff on explosion sound. I click explosion sound, pick, oh, and from explosion sound, as long as I don't have this script methods only, I can use actually stuff, you know, start sounding from within here. So wait, maybe I don't even need that. Cancel. Does explosion sound have a signal like stopped, finished? There we go, finished. Connected to itself, but pick free, queue free. Okay. So what's gonna happen is, and connect. So I'm gonna delete the timer. We don't need it. So basically, when the explosion sound stops playing, it's gonna call it on itself the queue free. So it's gonna delete itself after it's finished playing. Therefore, inside our meteor, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete that explosion sound from here. Okay. what I'm gonna do is gonna add another exported scene. Export var explosion sound scene. We packed scene. So you can think of a scene as a collection of nodes. So basically something. And therefore we should be able to just, what this export does, it allows me to just click it here, and in inspector it will actually show up here, explosion sound scene. So I can just use this to select it, and I want the explosion sound. So I can link that. Wait, what? Quick load. Explosion sound. Why does it show this? Explosion sound doesn't have any graphics, so very strange. Go figure. Our meteor. Okay, explosion sound is attached here, and therefore in our script I will be able to take that and spawn it. So destroy meteor, we have, you know, destroy itself. Let's add the play sound, and after that we're just gonna have the spawn dust. So what we're gonna do is basically the sound player will be the scene.instantiate. Okay. I'm just gonna make sure that, oh, and I'm gonna add it to the parent of whatever the meteor is. So I'm gonna place it there, and I'm just gonna, for the sake of it being, I guess, some kind of spatial position, will be position of the meteor itself. And then I shouldn't need to do play, because I think I can set here to make it autoplay. There we go. So it's gonna autoplay itself, and let's see if that works. Please work. There we go. That's how it works. Cool. And I guess I can additionally make it sound player dot pitch scale to be random. I definitely need to take that random to put it here to be like a global and in a sense of the whole script. This way I don't need to call it again here, and I can just use it in both spots. RNG.random float and range from 0.9 to 1.1. And that should sound a little bit better. Oh. So you can hear the sounds being kind of crazy. This is because two sounds are happening at the same time. Because the sound is created for both. When the meteor collides with another meteor, they basically both spawn a sound. But I don't mind this for now. I just don't want to deal with that. One would need to make a manager, or like which one has priority or whatnot, and like, ugh, screw that. This is good enough. Okay, so we've got that, and the last thing I want to do is go to the bullet itself, cannonball. We have it here, and we're gonna add one more sound. So we're gonna take it for the player, because we want the sound of the cannonball hitting the meteor, so we have a little bit different sound. So we go to cannonball, paste the sound. It will be the hit sound. Where is it? Hit sound. Please be in the center. There we go. And for the hit sound, we're gonna change it to, yeah, after I set that sound, I'll be finishing for today. So bullet impact rock. There we go. Sure. Kind of sucks. Let's make it start from here. Oh no, you can't. Can you like decide a start as 0.035? That's loop mode. No. I guess not. Oh well, this is good enough. Good. Sure. So, hit sound is placed, set. Now we just need to, in a script, whenever on body entered, we want to check if we hit something specific, right? So I can grab it from the meteor. It'll take me some time to get used to that. The tabs change whatever I have selected, while the scripts here are a completely separate thing. So let's do probably just this. So in our cannonball, so when the cannonball hits something, we check if it's meteors. And if it's a meteor, we basically play the sound. Because we hit the meteor, dot play. And and we need to disappear it again. Oh no. So this to do the same explosion spawning trick. There must be a system where you just send files, or maybe one would need to make their own manager, I guess. Okay, spawn a sound here, spawn a sound there. Possible, but I'm not gonna be bothered with that, so I'm gonna copy it from the meteor implementation. So we need our packed scene for this, so we'll be inside a cannonball. Here. And this will be hit sound scene. So we can go to meteor and where is it? We play the sound here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to use the same thingy again. So what we're gonna do is hit sound scene instantiate will be the sound player. We add it as a child, the parent, because it already has it set where it's gonna turn itself off. We set position and some kind of pitch scale, but I also want to do sound player dot, just make it as sound player. What the heck's going on here? Oh, we're missing F. That's why it's just confused as heck. As sound audio player 2D. Okay, this way this will know that this is supposed to be audio stream player 2D, and we can have additional things like can we set the file or something? Set script, set message, block signals. What is the name of that field? Stream. Oh no, this is gonna be probably way overcomplicated. Right, I'm going here. Stream. Okay. Equals. Can I just do load and this will be, oh, it already suggests just this. Okay. So what we can probably do is, what type is stream? Stream is type audio stream. So let's do this. Export bar hit sound stream audio stream, and we can just do whatever was selected here. Hopefully it's already loaded. And what's the problem here now? RNG not declared, of course. So much copy paste. Meteor. this guy, go to Cannonball, paste it here. And we should be nearly done. So what I'm trying to do here is change the audio stream to whatever it's supposed to be. Therefore, I'm gonna swap the sound before I play it, even though I kind of spawned the same explosion. So inside the Cannonball, I need to set the sound scene will be quick load, and that's gonna be the explosion sound. So I could probably rename it to something like, you know, one-off sound or something. And we're gonna load this sound. Please work. Nope, it doesn't seem to work. What am I doing wrong? We added there, we set the positions and whatnot. Okay. So can I like temporarily disable the meteor sound? Because I want to make sure that maybe I'm playing them together or something, but for some reason there's something wonky going on. But you can hear there's something. Yeah, there's no sound. Remote level meteors. I'm just getting a lot of them suddenly. Are we even hitting this thing? Cannonball here. What was it? Print. Can I hit meteor? And we don't need that to happen here. So play. I want to see that thing. Okay, so we have it happen. That's good. That's happening. So the thing that isn't happening is that when we set the stream, it doesn't play it. Huh. Do I need to reset the sound player to play suddenly out of nowhere? Or is that the stream that we're setting invalid for some reason? Oh, now it makes sound. Cool. That's funny because if a meteor hits this, it still does things. Great. Debugger. Wow, okay, that is a lot of errors. Destroy meteor can change its state while flashing queries. Use call deferred or set deferred to change monitoring state instead. What? Destroy meteor. Can't change the state of flashing queries. Let's try again. Do I still have weird stuff going on? Yeah. Huh. Very interesting. So parent add child of this. Of flashing queries. What the hell? Or set deferred to change monitoring state instead. Huh. That's something to search for. Let me just re-enable the stuff that was supposed to happen. So we have this sound because this works now. And inside our Cannonball, we have the sound, which is great. And therefore, at the end, we can also do what is it? Free something. Q free. This way they're going to disappear after hitting something. Lots of random errors. Thank you for pointing that out. That's something I didn't look at. Didn't have a need for that, to be honest. And they're just all the same. The destroy meteor doesn't like the fact that we're calling the get parent and then we're adding the child that we just created. Why? If I double click condition body get space and flashing queries. Get space. Copy error. And let's see if maybe Claude can help us, because I don't feel like searching for that right now. Can you help me with the following Godot 4.x error? And this is the error. Okay. This is the destroy meteor function. And we're just gonna copy it. There we go. And why not? We're gonna give this the whole thing. Let's see if it's actually useful. Change the physics state of an object while the physics engine is processing queries. This typically happens when you're trying to modify or remove physics body during a physics callback, such as collision event. To resolve this issue, you need to defer the destruction of the meteor instead of immediately calling Q3 and creating new objects. You should use call defer to schedule those actions for the next idle frame after the physics processing is complete. Oh, because we're probably calling it from within, not just process. We're calling it from body entered, which is a physics event. Ah, okay. Interesting. So we could call it destroy meteor, defer destroy. Oh, I see. Huh. Really? So maybe this is deferred. Yeah. This is kind of backwards because this is the destroy, while this should be deferred destroy. So let's add something like this. We're gonna call it defer destroy. Let's plop it after that. This should make it a little bit easier to navigate. So this is our destroy meteor, and after that we're just gonna add a new one. Or why do I even bother? I just do that. All right, no big deal. Where do I call the destroy meteor? Here. So we're just gonna wrap it in this thing. Here, please. Alrighty. And we have another one here. Do we have it used anywhere else? No. Let's see if that solves the problem. Okay, that solved our problem. It's good to know that, you know, we have that restriction there and we can just use call defer. That's probably also an interesting thing to just defer some stuff. Like, hey, do it in the next frame or something, because I don't want to use more of this here or there. Okay. Okay, good. Should be a darn sound here, whatever, or music. But that's for later. For now, I'm actually super happy with the result. We have sounds, we have things moving. The other thing I will also like to add is that when the meteors will get off the screen, you know, out the bounds, they just destroy themselves. Because, like, oh, I'm out of thing. And probably not themselves, they would just have another collision with some kind of killer object. And then the same thing for the bullets, because right now they just keep flying there in space forever. Which could make things slow. Alright. Alban Shadowsea says, GG, and thanks for explaining things as you went along. My pleasure. I found it very helpful for myself as well when I'm learning the topic and explaining it aloud. It kind of forces me to think about it a bit longer instead of just, yeah, let's try this, that, and then I ended up not learning much. This changes things. All right. So, yeah, thank you for watching. It was fun today. I feel like I accomplished something. I'm just a tiny bit more ready for for the game jam, and yeah, next stream maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna be able to squeeze something in. I don't know, but for sure on Monday will be also a longer stream where I'm trying to continue, and we'll probably start looking into a manual. Because Godot has its own separate manual. I was checking the groups, but we can basically, we're in a manual, and it starts off with best practices, how to organize your scenes, when scenes versus scripts, some of the good stuff, like, oh, we have interfaces, notifications, data preferences, all that stuff that's probably a little bit more in depth. And it will point us maybe into some terms that we should research more. And at the same time, it should give us some kind of idea like, oh, that makes sense. Because sometimes with those tutorials, you learn a few terms and you have absolutely no concept of, is it a good idea to do it or not? So if we can go through best practices, that would be helpful. And probably maybe start looking at things. I started making a list of what I want to know how to do before the game jam. So yeah, so we'll probably start going through the list and checking boxes off as we're getting ready. So that's it. Again, thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, you can like and subscribe on YouTube, or you can also follow on Twitch. On YouTube, I also have a link to my Discord that I'm slowly trying to get people to, if they want to chat with me later or something. So feel free to join. And again, thank you for hanging out with me and helping out. All right, take care. Have a great mornings. Have great nights, or whatever it is for you. See ya.